Hey ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Mr. Durham, and this is our first video of the week, mostly to give you introductions to the essays if you want to do the 100 Great Essays Challenge, especially during your hour each week. Also just a little intro to 100 Great Essays and a little intro to your 1 hour study. You want to use your 1 hour study really well each week, and you'll start to get better at it as the weeks go on. And your 1 hour study won't start until next Monday, which I believe is September 9th. That's when you'll first start having to report it. We'll talk about it in class very soon, probably Wednesday and Thursday. If you want to complete the 100 Great Essays Challenge, you have to read about 3 essays a week, and it's not something you have to do, but I will have read them all. I'm a little bit ahead, and I'll give you a little introduction each week, and I may even do another video at the end of the week once you've read it. Possibly. We'll have to see how it works. And I just have my phone here. I have some notes over on my left that I've made as I've read the essays, and I have the book here. So I might look down or look over there as I give you a few thoughts, okay? The first essay is actually one of my favorites. It's called How to Tame a Wild Tongue. It's written by Gloria Anzaldúa. You can see it there. It starts on page 30, but is the first essay from 100 Great Essays. One of the things you want to make sure to do is read the context and biographical information. Before there's biography, there's context, because Robert Diani, who is the editor, is going to give you a lot of help with breaking down the essays and understanding who wrote them. One of the cool things about How to Tame a Wild Tongue is it's from a different cultural perspective. And Gloria Anzaldúa talks a lot about her identity and how her identity is shaped by language. She does an interesting thing where she has quotes before she starts writing in various spots. She also has little subtitles. Those kind of give you some information about what Miss Anzaldúa is going to talk about and the themes. That's one of the coolest things. All 3 of the questions that follow it are good ones to practice. They're very interesting. They'll lead you to good places. It asks you how some of her examples contribute to her argument. It asks you about how those sections she cuts it into make a difference in what she's trying to say. And then it even asks you to consider your own language, the way you speak in some places versus others, and how that contributes to your identity. It has an interesting tone. It's not an easy read. It requires you to really think, and it requires you to relate, and it challenges you, which is why I love it so much. She uses a lot of Spanish in it, and she doesn't always translate it because it's so important to her identity. And it ends with a pretty bold tone that some people struggle with. So definitely one that that I would encourage you to read. It was written, by the way, in 1987. Also, Francis Bacon wrote the second one. It's really short, called Of Studies. It was written in 1625. He uses parallelism. He uses similes. He even uses a really cool thing called zeugma. You can look that up if you want. He uses the word stond, which is an obsolete word, S-T-O-N-D. You can look that up, but it means stop, halt, or hindrance. He uses Latin. Both number 2 and number 3 really encourage you, the questions that come after, to write some kind of cool creative pieces. I'd love to look at some of yours if you create something. Plus, this will help you read older style texts that they sometimes put on the AP exam. It will help you get used to some of that older style. And then number 3, if you decide to do the 100 Great Essays Challenge, was written in 1979 by James Baldwin, a very famous African-American author. It's called If Black English Isn't a Language, Then Tell Me What Is. And it has some interesting parallels to How to Tame a Wild Tongue, which would be really cool for you to pick up on if you read them this week. If you want to understand a different point of view from yours, again, it will help you. He uses the word diaspora, D-I-A-S-P-O-R-A, you can look up. On page 45, let's see here. The last sentence of the second full paragraph. Sorry, I was looking to see, I wrote down one of his great lines here. To open your mouth in England, if I may use black English. To open your mouth in England is, if I may use black English, to put your business in the street. You have confessed your parents, your youth, your school, your salary, your self-esteem, and alas, your future. The way people judge us. He talks a lot about the way that people judge us for the way we speak. Let's see here. He uses the word repudiate. Question number 1 following the essay asks, what evidence does he use to support his, his argument? And then question number 3, it asks you to use your own evidence to disagree or agree with what he says. There's lots of great stuff. Even on mid 46, he uses page mid 46, he uses some italics to bring across something very, very important to his argument. So basically, usually these videos will be a little bit shorter. I apologize for the length of this one, but I want to give you some background. I'll bring up some lines that I like. I'll ask you to look in certain places, and I'll always talk about the questions that come after. How, if you decided to do some of those for your hour study or write a little piece or read them before, they're really going to help you start to develop those AP skills that the College Board wants you to develop, that I want you to develop, and especially with How to Tame a Wild Tongue this week, and If Black English Isn't a Language and Tell Me What Is, it's the skill of empathy, being able to understand and care about people who are different from you, and grasp onto their perspective. So if you want to do the 100 grade essays challenge, about 3 essays a week, and look for a video on YouTube at the beginning of each week. This is video number 1. Please let me know, email or ask me questions if you have any. And we'll start officially our 1-hour study on September 9th. That's the first week you'll be responsible for. You don't have to do one this week. Alrighty. Thanks a lot, guys.